I have what I believe is a simple thought to share with you tonight, and I have found, for me personally, a simple thought, when you rearrange the perspective, can sometimes have more impact than you really believe. So tonight, I'm going to be speaking on something that's pretty straightforward, but hopefully it's something that can resonate with somebody here tonight. It's something that for sure has been on my mind for a while now, and I'm very excited to be able to talk about it. So, one of my goals coming into the new year, did anybody here make any New Year's resolutions? First question, did anybody? None of you guys down here. Well, I do my best to try to make one. I'm going to be 100% honest, I'm not great at sticking to them, but I try, and you know what? That's all you can do till it works. So one of my goals coming into this year involved spending less money. I love to shop. Surprise. For those who know me, that's not a surprise. Some might say it's my fatal flaw, and some is sitting in the sound booth right there looking at me. So I love to shop, but unfortunately, one of the annoying parts about becoming self-aware and knowing your flaws, it's that the onus is now on you to fix your flaws. So I did make some reasonable spending and not spending goals, and I've done a pretty good job sticking to those so far. My friends don't need to say anything further about that, but I've done a pretty good job making this immense sacrifice. It sparked another bunny trail of thought for me that has kind of led me to what I'm going to talk about today. And I found myself thinking about how wisely I have been spending not only my money, but my time. So I'm going to be talking about time today. Hearing the word 2025 spoken out loud at first felt a little bit like a slap in the face with how quickly it's arrived. This year for me is 10 years since I started college and other post-secondary pursuits. And it seems like a decade has passed by in the blink of an eye. It has gone by so unbelievably fast, so many things have happened. But I've never felt the swift-moving and fleeting nature of time as keenly as I have in the last 3 months for some reason. So I'm going to read a quick scripture here in Psalms 90, verse 12. It says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." There have been many people in history who have written about the concept of time. Time and tide wait for no man. Time heals all wounds. Time is money. Lost time is never found again. There's one Greek philosopher, Theophrastus, who was known for his musings on time, and he says, "Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend." So time, we're looking at a little bit of a doozy of an official definition here. The indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole. Indefinite here meaning an undefined length. We as people are largely able to understand the importance of time in our everyday activities. Everything we do is based on time. Waking up at the right time, getting to work or school at the right time, waiting to eat lunch at the right time, heading home, coming to church, going to bed. Most of our days are dictated by time. And we see time impacting us constantly as we age, as we grow, as we learn. Time is a well-explored theme in the Bible. Psalms 90, where our text comes from, actually begins with Moses' commentary on how God views time compared to us humans, saying things like, 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. We've got old King Solomon ruminating about time in Ecclesiastes 3, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven." So knowing what we know about time, it's easy to make the assertion that our time is essentially equivalent to our life. As our time goes on, so is the only life we have going on. And life is everything. Today, I would like to simply assert and underscore that time is the most precious and valuable resource that each of us have. And as Theophrastus put it, time is the most valuable thing that a man can spend. So everything I spend time on, I receive something in return, as you would in a monetary transaction. What you receive can be positive or negative. It depends on what you're doing. You can purchase, whether purposefully or inadvertently, harmful information, negative thought patterns, sinful behaviors, inappropriate imagery. Or maybe other times the things you've spent time on give you a happier and healthier family dynamic. Maybe they lean into self-edification through education, exercise, practicing talents and skills. Not everything's black and white. There are certainly neutral things that we can gain, but the point here is that everything we choose to spend our time, our very valuable resource of time on, we receive something in return for that time that we have spent. That's what a transaction is. So we spend our whole lives exchanging our time for things, positive, negative, neutral, all these things we collect and they become the sum of who we are. What I choose to spend my time on is who I will become. It influences my actions, my thoughts, my words, and my relationships. And though it may feel like an overwhelming thought for a Wednesday night, the reality is that our precious time is a finite resource. That's what makes it so precious. It's limited, hence its immense value. There's only so much time that every person is given to grow and find purpose. So when considering, as our opening text said, when considering numbering my days, I'm being aware of the nature of time. The perhaps uncomfortable question I would then ask myself, when my time is done and I have no more to spend, what am I left with? Because even though I made many purchases and have received many, many things during my time, good and bad, not all of those things are eternal. So what am I left with? Did I make any eternal investments? Did I spend any of my time sharing the good news of Jesus? Did I spend time furthering his kingdom? Did I spend time teaching people about his word? Did I give my time to people who needed his light in their life? Did I give any of my time to establishing a relationship with Jesus? Did I truly take the time to know him, or was hearing about him from other people enough for me? When choosing what to spend time on, your biggest bang for your buck, so to speak, is easily going to be an investment in time spent with Jesus. Building a relationship with him, getting to know him, learning to hear his voice, this is your greatest eternal investment opportunity while you have time. And when I show Jesus that he is who I want to spend my most valuable and precious resource on, he shows me what he will then pour back into my life in return. Joy, peace, love, wisdom, mercy, grace, discernment, direction, financial stability, a comforter. These are priceless and invaluable returns on investing in a relationship with Jesus. This investment of my time will not only hugely benefit me in the course of my life, but it will also last for eternity. And what may feel like a sacrifice when you're exhausted, overworked, overextended everywhere else is actually the greatest possible use of your time. And I encourage you to find some time. If it feels like you have none, take a little from here, a little from there, some in-between moments, time at work, time at school, and look for those moments to spend time with Jesus. So to be a good steward, as my title references stewards, to be a good steward is to be a wise caretaker of what we are given. We've heard this said about money. We've all heard those lessons about stewardship. And looking at our verse, teach us to number our days so we may gain a heart of wisdom, we see that being aware of our time and stewarding our time will gain us a wise heart. Teach me to number my days, meaning to be aware that my time is limited, my time is precious, and to be aware that each day matters. Living and valuing my life in such a way is how I gain a heart of wisdom. So what does God consider wisdom to be? Proverbs 9:10 tells us, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. The fear of the Lord is awe, respect, understanding, and reverence of God, something that can only be established through relationship with him. Thus, it stands to reason that seeking a relationship with God is something he considers to be wise. A heart that is wise is able to live a purposeful, compassionate, powerful life and impact those around them for good. So I know that I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to end this by bringing it back around. To be a good steward is to be wise with my resources. My most valuable resource is time. How I spend my time matters because it's finite. The wisest way to spend my time is using it to seek Jesus. So when you're configuring your everyday life, make sure that seeking Jesus is a factor in how you pass the hours.